Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 1 of the Brewed Up Basketball Podcast. I'm with Remecy, my co-host, and we're going to talk about the Draymond Green incident and many more topics to come today. Got anything to say?
Well,
Just anything. Want to get off your mind real quick before we get potting?
all right. I like to say that my name is Remecy Vega. Um, I like big. Got that.
No, I'm not cutting anything. It's staying in. All right,
No.
Draymond Green versus Jordan Poole incident. How do you feel about what is happening between Draymond Green and Jordan Poole, and do you think the repercussions were enough?
Okay, I just want to start off by saying what Draymond did was very wrong. Like, there's no way. You yourself,
Yep.
like an argument that bad has to result to you punching someone in the face.
Yeah, I agree.
Especially if that person is your teammate that you just won a championship with, that you literally just like, you guys are boys. You're like, oh, this is my guy. I would never do anything to hurt him. I always call him, but then you go over and like sock him in the mouth.
Yeah.
Like I think that's a bad look on him. I think right now Jordan Poole is not talking to Draymond right now because of what happened. Um, it's understandable, but I also do want to say that whatever stays in practice always stays in practice, right? That video should have never gone on the web because there's a reason why there's no media in there, right?
Yeah.
Because on the court,
Well, there is, but
no, like after
oh,
there's
well, like
media.
they have the cameras there for a reason, like for
Yeah,
recorded
but
film. But
not
I get
during
what you mean. I get what
practice.
you mean. Yeah,
Um, like everything stays on the court.
for
What
sure.
what happens on the court, everything stays on the court, right? There's always gonna be arguments. If anyone ever plays basketball, you're always gonna fight, regardless if it's your boy, a rando. There's always gonna be like fights, not necessarily fist fights, but there's always gonna be fights on the court. But at the end of the day, no one's gonna bring that outside and be like, "Yo, you scored that bucket on me. I don't appreciate that." Like outside the court, no one's gonna do that. So I feel like the media being brought upon it and everything being in social media just like made it a lot worse because everyone's just overreacting. Like I don't think everyone's saying like they should trade Draymond or drop him. I don't think that should happen. Only because these guys are teammates. Everyone fights. I think like at most they should like suspend him or fine him for breaching like in his territory, hitting him.
Yeah,
That is not allowed. So I just don't think that's a like tradable or like fireable offense.
yeah, I agree. I think that it's obviously disappointing that Draymond did this. He is a leader, and you're as who as a leader, you're not supposed to like do anything to make other people think that you cannot be a leader, and that's a trait. If you get physical with someone after an altercation, it shows you can't control your anger. He actually has expressed before how he can't control his anger, so this is just proving that point even more that he has anger issues and he can't control it. He shouldn't be fined. Maybe he should be fined, but he shouldn't be suspended. They're not going to trade him because he doesn't have a great trade value. There's nothing you can really get for Draymond for what he actually brings to that team. He is arguably the second best player on that team in terms of what he brings to that team, like the system, defense. He's arguably the second best player on that team when it comes to that. You're not going to get anything in return for that. It's not like 2K where a team's going to give you Chris Middleton for Draymond. It's not going to happen. You're not going to have another guy like that on that team. And even if you did get Chris Middleton or something like that, it's not going to work the same. You don't have another big guy in the league that can do what Draymond does, like on offense, other than probably Jokic. There's not a lot of good passing big men in the league that can do what he does defensively and offensively. Second of all, Jordan Poole, right? He's obviously going to be sad and annoyed. Whatever happens. But I don't think it'll affect him that much at all. Draymond has already said that they already used to get into like beefs all the time, and he always beefs with the players anyways. So this isn't nothing new for him in general. So I'm not really too tight about the situation. I don't think it's that serious. I think everyone's just blowing it out of proportion just because we haven't watched any real basketball in a while, so this is the only like crazy news that we have other than preseason. Speaking about playing basketball and seeing basketball, Victor Wembanyama versus Scoot Henderson just happened in the G League, right? I want to know your opinion about both of these prospects and which one you're going to think is better.
Okay, so I want to start off by with Victor, right? I
Yep.
think a guy like him over 7 feet tall, should not be playing like he is right now, right? You never seen it before. Like you'll see like big shooting men, like they should just they're a catch and shoot type, right? They sit in the corner or something, they shoot threes. This guy you see pulling up at Steph Curry range. Like this guy is shooting deep threes, shooting faded threes, shooting off like moving off the shot. Like that's
Yeah,
crazy.
it is crazy.
Like and he's handling like a point guard would. Like he has handles like a point guard. He's faster than the average big man, and that's a huge problem coming in the league because no one's gonna be able to guard him like that. I do want to say that he on his defensive side, it's not bad, but he does have like he slacks sometimes. Like when someone's going in the paint, he won't realize it, and he wouldn't like go into it until like it's too late.
Yeah,
And it's very easy for him when they're on the perimeter to pass by him, right? Because he's not as fast as them.
yeah,
So he does have perimeter like weakness when it comes to defense. His inside game is not too bad either. Like he's a good blocker, of course, because of his height. Um, and he is like an injury liability because he's so tall and he has knee problems. That's like most of the big men that come in the league, right? Because what I've been noticing, like a trend of big men that don't play like normal, like Bull, right? He shoots the three a lot, or Shaq's son. He's in the league too. He's in the G League, I'm pretty sure.
yep,
Um, these guys, famous because they're big men who could shoot the three, or just famous sons in general. But Victor's not a famous son, so I want to see what he can like bring out in the NBA because I feel like he can bring a change. But the only problem is, he's injury liability. What I do want to say about Scoot Henderson though is that he's pretty good. He's pretty good. He's like a D Rose type player that he could like take it in the paint and score. But the problem with like D Rose is that he didn't like really score outside much of the paint besides the mid range. But he would just tear his body going inside the paint, risking it, and that was a big problem. But it seems like Scoot Anderson can actually shoot the ball too, which is actually really good. So if he can't like score inside the paint, he'll do it outside. And his playmaking is above average when it comes to NBA players. When I seen him play one of the games, the second game, he was dribbling the ball sort of like how I would say like Kyrie does, where it's unpredictable. Like you wouldn't really like know where he's going next, and there's just so much finesse to it, and that's what I really like about his game. And the fact that if he's not gonna shoot, if he's not gonna score, he's gonna pass it to the nearest person open. He's really good at doing that too. So I feel like he's gonna be a really good point guard. When it comes to like who's better in terms, I think Victor blows him out only because
pause.
we haven't seen a player. Yeah, pause. Well, we haven't seen a player like him, like ever, at all. Maybe like shorter than him, but we haven't seen like a 7 footer do stuff he's doing right now.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong about the Victor Wembanyama thing being like the first player ever to do this, but I do disagree with you about him blowing out the waters like against Scoot Henderson. I think they're both players that are generational talents. I think that there's never been players like these two before. You can't put Scoot Henderson in a bottleneck like that. He is not like Kyrie. He is not like D Rose. He's not like John Wall. He's a mix of all of them, and that's why it's hard to compare him to any point guard ever. He's a very, very good point guard. He's 18, by the way. 18, and he's doing all these things. He's dribbling very well. He's very controlled with his offense. He isn't like so reckless. So a lot of these players going to the NBA, like John Morant, for example, it was a very reckless point guard. He had no control of what he was doing. Same thing with Russell Westbrook. That took him a lot of years to learn, even when he was already in the NBA. He was super aggressive and super reckless. Scoot Henderson is not scared to control the tempo of the game. At such a young age, learning that, there's players in the NBA right now that don't know how to do it. Like Giannis, for example, is someone that doesn't understand how to control the tempo of the game. And that's what's going to make him elite if he understands that. And some players understand it at a younger age, like Scoot Henderson. Scoot already understands all this stuff, that how to control the game and slow it down and stuff like that. But with saying that, I don't think he is better than Victor. I think Victor is a better player. because I think Victor is a better defender. I think Victor is a better scorer, of course, but I think the only issue with Victor is that he is very sluggish at times. Sometimes he looks very aggressive and very dominant, and then sometimes he just looks like he's slacking, like he just doesn't care about the game. Which I get, you're playing weaker competition, so it's like you're not going to take it as seriously, which clearly he does not. But I will say about Victor is that I haven't seen a prospect, and I haven't been following a lot of college prospects except for the last 5 years or in that range. I'd say I've never seen a prospect coming into the league with that good of footwork. He has an amazing footwork, and he has amazing footwork in the post, and just overall, he's not afraid to go to the post. He normally you'd see like these 7 footers that like are getting carried away with shooting threes and stuff like that, or just people in general carry away with shooting threes. Victor is a real 3 level scorer. He isn't afraid of doing anything. He does not care where he scores. He's just willing to go get a basket. Same thing with Scoot Henderson is where he is willing to make the right play. His IQ is there, and that is amazing to me. And I think that if we can just see Scoot Henderson play more and not get injured as much, his talent and Victor Wembanyama's talent is very close. I just don't think people see the Scoot Henderson hype that I see. And I could be wrong, but I really think that Scoot Henderson's that good. I think we're not gonna. He's either gonna be a great point guard, and we're never gonna see anything like him, or he's gonna be injury prone, and then that's what's gonna hold him back in his career. And that's just what I really think.
I really do feel like he's gonna be injury prone a lot. That's why it's very hard to tell with him. You know, and you say that he's not like a lot of players like D Rose, Ja Morant. I feel like his play style is kind of reckless. It's not too reckless, like as to where like Ja Morant, like he was just dunking over everyone. But sometimes it is because one of the games he tried to test out if he could like score over Victor, and he got absolutely bodied. Like
I said it's more fearless though than not control. Like control is what I'm saying is that he understands what he's doing. Like he's not looking lost at the end of the game. There's times where Ja, when he was like in college, he would go in and he would drive for something and didn't know what to do. If Scoot is going for a dunk over someone, he knows he's going for the dunk. He isn't looking for anything. He's just going for it. But he's aware of what could happen and what's around him. There's times where Scoot is going for a shot and then he realizes there's someone else open in the corner and he'll pass it to them instead and they'll get the easy bucket. Or someone's cutting the paint mid shot, he'll throw it to them. That is being in control of the game. And I don't think that there's ever been a point guard in the last at least 10 years going into the NBA from being 18 years old that has that much control. I don't think there isn't one. Because
I,
even Ja
you know,
had time in college. He spent like 2 years in college. So
I feel like we got to see like what Scoot could bring into the NBA first before we start that. Only because you could feel like in college, right? College and G League is a different sport compared to like what you're bringing into the NBA, right? Better players, better defenders, bigger guys,
the G League is
all that.
borderline NBA players though.
It's not as close. These
Compared to
guys.
college?
No, I'm not saying college. Like I'm saying
Oh.
like compared to the NBA,
Oh,
like they're
well
not as
yeah.
good. Obviously, that's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
We can't like really just say that he's more controlled than these guys only because we haven't seen him play in the NBA. I feel like we give it a couple weeks before these guys are drafted, right? I feel like we still have next year, right?
Yeah.
They're not drafted just yet. We can wait till then. Um, we can see how their game develops and all that. So I feel like to say that he's more controlled this early on is just a little bit excessive, but you might
Telling you.
not be wrong.
I'm telling you, like I'm not saying he's more controlled than Ja right now. I'm saying when they
No, no,
were
I know,
both
I know.
rookies,
Yeah.
this guy is way more control. I don't think that Scoot. I think, in my opinion, right, I'm gonna be more of a Scoot fan than I am a Victor fan. But if I'm drafting players, I'm drafting Victor first, just because he's potential. Like that's it. Victor's IQ isn't there defensively, but once it gets there, you're looking at the next best player in the league if he can stay healthy, and it's not close. But if Scoot is able to develop more defensively, because he's not going to be a good defender, a lot of guards can't be that great of defenders. It's just a height difference, skill diff, height diff, born diff, whatever you want to call it. He's not going to be on that level of a defender. But I think what he can bring to a team is like still very, very generational. But speaking of what teams and like what people can bring to teams, let's talk about the league standings in the East. What do you have as your top 3 seeds going into the East next year?
So for the East, my three teams, starting off with the first seed is going to be the Philadelphia 76ers. I think James Harden is going to step it up a little bit more, and we're seeing improvement from him. He's more confident now than he ever was before he started joining the Nets. I feel like he's gonna come back in that scoring groove, right? Because he's only been passing the last few years because he's listening to everyone. He needs to just stop that, right? He needs to play his game how he used to play, MVP level. Of course, he could take a step down, right? Because he's gonna be the second guy in the team. Joel's number one, but he doesn't need to like change his game just because everyone else has to. I feel like if he was, because they made it what was it 2018 with Chris Paul.
Yeah,
2019 it was.
I think it's
Back to back finals, Western Conference Finals.
I think it was 2018. The next year, 2019, I'm pretty sure it was Westbrook and him. But
Yeah,
2018,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
But these guys, right? These guys are so close to making it. Like he was so close to making it by himself. But now he has like I'm not saying Chris Paul's bad, right? But he was injured. But Joel Embiid, he's in his prime right now. So, you know, I feel like he can make it. Um, and the second seed I have is the Milwaukee Bucks. I feel like it's gonna be like a edge, close to close, 1 and 2. But I think the Bucks will just finish right below them. Giannis is gonna probably have a breakthrough season like he always does. He's gonna shine, do so much for the team that he's already doing. Chris Middleton, I feel like he's gonna be just as good if he's not too injured. That if he doesn't get too much injured. Drew Holiday, he's always like a good 2 and D player. Like he's always a good defender, and he's not too bad scoring. And I have my third seed as the Boston Celtics. I feel like the addition with my Malcolm Brogdon was really good. Just because they have like a playmaker and a true point guard now, compared to like Marcus Smart, who's like he's not a bad point guard. It's just he's not really good at playmaking itself. Like he's not good at passing the ball. He's not good at taking it down. That's why Jason Tatum always takes the ball down. Um, yeah, and if Robert Williams is able to come back soon than later, then I feel like that team would just be like really good. Even without Udoka, I feel like this team would still be good.
For my number one seed, I'm gonna get into why I disagree with you about the Celtics. But for my number one seed, I have the Bucks. I think Giannis is gonna break out this season. About that control thing I was talking about, I think he's gonna be able to learn to control the pace of the game this offseason. I think he learned that playing in the FIBA League. And I think that you could see he looks like a completely different player if you watch the FIBA League. He acts different, and I think that now going into this season, he's gonna play differently this season in terms of making the smarter basketball plays and being more dominant. On top of that, he's always gotten better every season, so this is just another season to prove that he can get better. This might be his peak season, or it might be the season after. Number two seed, I got the Sixers. I think that James Harden and Joel Embiid, this has to be their year to actually do something and get there, because if they don't, it's not going to look good for them as the organization or anything like that. I like the addition of PJ Tucker and Montrezl Harrell. They need a big guy, like just a guy that can play center position and actually guard the other centers to not put that taxing defensive job on Joel Embiid. And now you have PJ Tucker that can do that. Montrezl Harrell is not going to be able to do that, but he can come off the bench and give you easy buckets or somewhat of easy buckets. Top of that, you got DeAnthony Melton, which is going to be a huge part in that whole system in order to help them win even more. For my third seed, I have Miami. Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero. You got these three guys probably starting together, and Kyle Lowry's looking better than ever. He's looking more in shape than ever. And I am a firm believer that him being in shape is going to be huge for them. Because a huge thing for them last year is that he kept getting injured, and that could be due to health, and we don't know why. But if health was the issue, now they don't have to worry about that. And I think Bam Adebayo is going to take a huge step defensively this season, and he's going to take more shots, so it's more responsible on him and not just Jimmy Butler. Tyler Hero just got paid, so he has to play for that contract now. So he's going to be playing more, and he's going to be starting. The reason why I don't agree with you about the Celtics, and this is a huge thing, you don't have Robert Williams for like 6 to 12 weeks, or whatever it is. You don't have him for a while. So who's your starting center? That's a big issue already. Number two, you don't have the coach that literally willed you to a better record last season with a miracle getting you the second seed. You don't have that now. And now you're expecting that Marcus Smart, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown, and all that other stuff that's happening in that locker room is just going to figure it out. I can't imagine a world where they get above the fifth seed this year. I don't think they get the fourth, third, second, or first seed. Just because it's not even because the players are bad, there's just no one to coach them like that. The assistant coach said they're going to keep the same system, but how much is that going to matter if you don't have that vocal leader in the locker room? And if they are going to be in that third seed, I'm going to assume that Jason Tatum is becoming like the best player in the league, and that's literally it. But for my fourth seed and my fifth seed, I have Atlanta coming in at the fourth seed. And this one's interchangeable for me. I think Trae Young and DeJounte Murray is going to be huge this season. John Collins is still there. Clint Capella is still there. And DeAndre Hunter is still there. That's a really good starting five, at least in my opinion. I think that the only defensive liability there is Trae Young. But besides that, you have elite defenders there. Or maybe not elite, but really good defenders there. John Collins isn't bad. Clint Capella isn't bad. DeAndre Hunter is really good. And DeJounte Murray is really good. So now you have stuff to cover up Trae Young. And now they got a secondary ball handler. So what happened in that Miami series is not going to happen again. They're not going to trap Trae Young. They can't, because now there's other people that can create their own shot. And someone that can actually help create shots for others. And that's huge. And then, of course, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. They just got Donovan Mitchell. And I think Evan Mobley, with him being healthier this season, he's going to be all defensive first team. And he might even sneak into an all NBA third team. We don't know, but he could. Darius Garland looks like he's getting better every season. And then I think that as a core, it all depends on him. If he can develop into something better than what he is, they could even go higher. Who are your fourth and fifth seeds, though?
I say my fourth and fifth seeds. My fourth is going to be Atlanta Hawks. Like I agree with you with DeJounte Murray and Trae Young. They're going to be a really good duo, and their team, like their all around team supporting them, is also really good. I think they're one of the best teams so far that I've seen throughout the league, right? Because it's not like they're star players, but they're really good supporting players.
Yeah.
Um, Cleveland, I like their team is like youthful, young. I think they're really good when it comes to like scoring and also defense too. Um, you have Darius Garland, who's like he's really good. He's a really good point guard. With the addition with Donovan Mitchell, they have two scoring guards who can also handle and create their own shots. Evan Mobley too. I really like him. I feel like he should have won Rookie of the Year last year, but with him, he might be even most improved player. Who knows?
No way.
Um,
He's a
you don't think
second.
so?
He's a second-year player. That's so stupid. There should never be a
No, I'm just
second-year
saying. I'm
player
just saying.
that wins Rookie of the Year. It's dumb.
You're right.
Stupid.
You're
It's your
right.
job, bro. Like, this is your job. You're supposed to get better. Like, no, don't. I'm sick
No,
of
I'm just
that.
saying. I'm saying he might have a
In three
chance.
years, he
I'm not.
might. Yeah, 3 years. He got weight on it though. Award ain't given out,
That's
bro.
true.
Josh
I'm
shouldn't
not gonna
even.
say. I'm
Josh
not
should
gonna
not have
argue.
gotten that award. It was dumb.
Jarrett Allen,
Jared Allen
who's
could.
also he's improving a lot too. Like I
Yeah.
really like his game a lot. Um, and yeah, I think those are my next two teams right there.
Give me your 60 because I already said I got Boston at 6, so it just makes sense.
Okay. All right. I have Miami Heat at the sixth, only because I feel like they really struggled during the playoffs last year when it came to like the Celtics. Um, Defensively, their bench was pretty bad, really bad. When it came to scoring, no one could really score. Hero wasn't even playing, to be fair, but when Hero did play, he wasn't scoring very well either. Um, Gabe Vincent looked really good out there. I like I like Caleb Martin a lot too. Uh, I mean, other than that, I don't see like
You know,
Kyle Lowry. You're right. He could probably be better than he was last year, obviously, but he's grown older and older, and his game is coming weaker. Right? He's not aging like fine wine. He's not getting any better.
you don't think he could
And
be like a at least a 15 point per game player?
I don't think he can be anymore.
I think he's still that good of a shot creator. You don't think so?
I think I like his three game is good, but other than that, I don't see him like scoring 15 points.
He's skinnier.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna say he's gonna get better because he's skinnier.
Hater.
I'm not hating on his weight loss journey.
Nah,
I
you're hating
need
on him, bro.
myself one.
You're hating on him. Nah,
I need
but
myself one too.
what about like Omar Yurtsevin still there? He could help. No,
He doesn't really get play minutes.
he could though.
He could, but I don't think Eric Spoelstra's gonna do that. And then, like you said, Bam's gonna take more of a role. It's gonna take more. He's gonna take more tolls on his body. Because he's also not a player who he gets injured quite frequently, not too much, but you always see him out like a couple weeks or so. Jimmy Butler, he's taken a toll. Like he's taken like a toll. Like he's scoring the most baskets. He's also like dishing the ball out. He's playing the point guard while Kyle Lowry's out. He's taking the most toll out of the whole team.
So
He's the number one guy, and he's doing everything for them.
with them having the number one seed last season, you don't think that all these factors that were put against them can't now propel them to be even if it's not to the same level of being number one, at least being in the top 3 or 4?
Well, it's like saying the Suns had number one, right?
Yeah.
They're not gonna be the same team
No, they're
because
not.
morale is down. Same with the Heat, morale is down.
But how is Morrow
You know,
down? Victor Oladipo just turned down a deal from Washington where he could have gotten a starting position, but he actually just wanted to resign and play with the Heat.
well, I'm not gonna say morale is down. It's not like compared to the Suns, but still, just because they're a number one seed doesn't mean they're not gonna get any worse. I don't see them getting any better than they were last year.
But even with all that stuff being against them, like how does that work? Like, because Tyler
And they
Hero was
also
out, right? And Bam was out. Like you're saying these things, right? And now they're coming back, and they're going to actually stay. They could stay. Like we got to live in a world where it's like unless they're
if
injured,
they stay healthy.
they
That's what I
okay.
know what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah.
I know what you're saying. But the thing is, you see all these teams making free agency moves. You don't see none of these guys doing that. We seen. I think it was really good that they re-signed Tyler Hero, right?
Yeah.
They kept Victor Oladipo because he didn't play almost the whole season last season, right? So we can't really tell what he's gonna provide us. In the playoffs, he didn't really provide us much at all. Like he did horrible.
He did okay. It wasn't too bad.
He did. He didn't.
He
He
wasn't
didn't
him, but
perform.
like
It wasn't him. You know, I just don't like they're not making any moves. And I don't like that.
I
They're
mean
gonna stay the same. They're gonna stay the same while everyone else is improving themselves.
that could attest though to being having good morale though. Like it could literally just equate to that. Like oh,
You're right.
less is more theory. Like we don't have to go after anything because we already have what we have. They were just in the conference finals.
I know, but not only did they not make any moves, they lost PJ Tucker. That was huge. He was really good. He was really good for the defensive side. They just lost defense.
Yeah, that is bad. But
It's really bad for them. Like
yeah,
their defense is less now. I don't think they're gonna be like a top defensive team next year or this year coming up.
well, speaking about defense and just speaking about teams in general falling off, I have the Brooklyn Nets coming in at the 7th seed, and I still believe in them to be good. I put them this low because I am a firm believer that they could actually eclipse Cleveland and Boston and maybe even Atlanta. I think the talent on that team is that good. I just think the only thing they lack is a good center. And I think the only thing they really lack is consistency. All these players are either not playing or getting hurt. Now this season they have everything like that's ideal for them. They have Ben Simmons with a whole bunch of shooters. They have KD, they have Kyrie. Like if they don't get it done this season, just blow it up, call it quits, and do whatever you can. Because they're not getting anywhere. But I can believe in this team in a world that there's no injuries. So I'm just basing it off that because no one's hurt yet. So I can't say that, oh, it's not going to work because I don't know who's hurt yet.
But I
But,
can't see how you like disassemble the team because Katie just didn't he just sign an extension with them?
well, you can still trade KD. He didn't
Yeah,
sign
you
an
can
extension
trade
this
him.
season. He asked for a trade this season, and they said no. So he has to play out the rest of his contract.
Yeah,
But if it
but you
doesn't
know, I
work
don't.
next season, trade him. It doesn't matter where he goes. You're the owner. Like it's just not going to look good on business, but it's going to have to be what it has to be. You complied to
It's
everything
gonna
they
be a
said.
hard contract to send.
Not really. Anyone would want KD. You know how much the Knicks would give just to get KD? They'd give up
But
Julius Randle and like
how much do the Nets want is what you have to consider
they probably
for
want
KD.
everything, and they'd give up everything. Like if the Nets called the Knicks right now, and you're the GM, you give up R.J. Barrett, Quentin Grimes, and 4 first-round picks, and
That's
Mitchell
not that
Robinson.
probably won't work for
Would you
them.
do it or no?
It just depends. Like I would do that, yeah, but
Okay.
it just depends. Like the Nets might want more,
What about six
and
first-round picks?
Katie probably won't want to go to the Knicks. It depends like what team
He
wants
doesn't.
them.
He
Like
doesn't have a trade clause. It doesn't matter.
contender teams can't get them.
It does. He doesn't have a trade clause, so it doesn't matter. He doesn't have a say in it.
All right.
It's like I'm telling you to go to Market Basket, you gotta go to Market Basket. That's what we're trading you for. Does not matter.
If you traded me for some market basket, I
Yep,
would.
going to produce, bro.
Yeah.
Trading you for oranges. At number 8, I got the Toronto Raptors. I don't know what's gonna happen with this team. This team is the most iffy team for me. I think that in general, they literally could just go up or down on this scale. I don't know where to put them because Fred VanVleet, I don't know if he's gonna get better or worse. Pascal Siakam, he could get better. Again, I don't know where he's supposed to go up or down. I think he's just gonna stay the same. Scotty Barnes is gonna get better. I like their roster, but I just don't think they're there yet to solidify a spot among all these teams. It's not because they got worse or anything. It's just because all these teams just got so much better. What do you have at your 7 and 8?
At my 7, I have the Bulls.
Okay.
Now, I think the Bulls they have their fall from grace. They lost Lonzo Ball, right? He's out for a little bit with an ankle injury, like usual. And their point guard is Alex Caruso. Like Alex Caruso's not bad, but he's a you know role player. You can't have a role player as like a good starting point guard. It's not good for the team. DeMar DeRozan's gonna perform like hell. Zach LaVine's gonna perform like hell. Vucevic, I don't think so this is the thing about Vucevic. I don't like him only because he's a good scoring big and he gets you the stats, but he's not like a winning guy. Like besides that, he's not good defensively. For me, I feel like you have to start. I don't know who they're gonna start either between Vucevic or Drummond, but both those guys are just stats guys. They're not gonna get you winning numbers. Um, and like with that, right? Last season, the top three teams they were like zero zero against the top three teams in both divisions. Uh, I mean conferences. Sorry, there were 3-0, 0-3. That's not good.
Yeah, it's
So
not
that
good at
just
all.
means they won against shitters. The
Yeah.
shitters of the league they won against, but they lost against the best. They can't compete. And Miami proved that in the playoffs. Like they just destroyed them, even with their best team. That's just they're not performers. I have them. I do have them winning at least a couple more than who I put at eighth, but nah.
I think you meant the
Am
Bucks destroyed the Bulls.
Oh, was it? Yeah, the Bucks, not
Yeah,
Miami.
it's okay.
My bad. Um, and at my eighth, I have the Brooklyn Nets. I don't have them at the seventh. Like you said, their team is they're really. It just has to. It depends on Kyrie if they're gonna allow him to play the whole season or half the season with home games. KD, I feel like he's gonna perform, but he's gonna try his best to keep his team in the playoffs. I don't see them going past the second round,
Really?
or I don't even see them past the first. Just because I don't think they're good at all. Nick Claxton, he's like iffy to me. He did pretty good last season, but he's gonna be like a hack a shack. He's not good. He's not good at free throws. He's a liability at free throws. So end game, they have to stay up in the game, and if they don't, they're just gonna foul Claxton.
Yeah.
He needs to work on his free throws. He's a iffy to me. That's why I don't like him. With Joe Harris coming back, I feel like that gives them another person who could score. Because in the playoffs, they struggled to score a lot. KD also struggled a lot too. I don't know, man. I think if they allow Kyrie to play, I can see them being a little bit higher. But if they don't, I just don't see them. I don't. To be honest with you, I don't see them being at 8. But because it's KD, I feel like they will be 8.
Wow, not a believer in Brooklyn. For my ninth seed and 10th seed, I have Chicago and New York. I think the only way New York could actually make the playoffs is through the play-in. I don't think they're better than the Bulls. I think it's close with them. I really don't think the Knicks have a chance to make the play-in, to be honest. I think it's very low, and if they do, I'd be shocked. With Chicago, I think that all the injuries that are going to them, the only team that can fall out of this whole loop is probably Chicago. I think the Knicks, that's the only team the Knicks could beat. If Chicago makes the A seed, for example, to get into the plan, Chicago is the only team that they would probably beat. That would be the team to knock out. Besides that, I don't really want to go over the 11 through 15. So if you want to say your two play-in teams, then I would love to hear it.
Okay. I actually don't have the Knicks in the play-in.
Oh, you just have
Um,
them out.
yeah, I
Uh,
have the Raptors. The Raptors are always a good team. Like pretty average team. They're not the best. I feel like they always make it every single year, even without Kyle Lowry. They made it last year without him. Fred VanVleet he's that good. With Scotty Barnes, rookie of the year, I feel like they should be able to take that leap and to at least make the play in, because I don't think the other teams are better than them. Um, I like OG Anunoby. He came off an injury last season. It wasn't good for them, but now he's back. I feel like he's gonna perform like he did last year. And Siakam, he's not like a performer, but he's pretty good. I feel like those guys together, they're developing good morale, and they're gonna try to get their way into the playoffs. Like I only put them ninth only because I feel like it's like 7, 8, and 9 they could switch.
yeah, it's very
But
close.
if I wanted to predict who was gonna go 7, 8, and 9, that's who I want. And then I have Indiana at the 10th. I see if Turner, right, if Turner is healthy this year, he's a really good big who could also shoot the ball. I really like that, and he's a good blocker. He's a good blocker, you know. Um,
That's
and
crazy.
then you have Halliburton.
I would assume that they tank this year. That's
I'm gonna disagree you. They have Halliburton, Buddy Hield. They also have who's that guy? Gia. I don't know how to pronounce his name.
who?
It starts with a B.
Oh,
He was a rookie last year.
he was a rookie last year.
No, Duarte. They had Duarte, who was actually
Duarte.
doing.
Yeah,
Duarte was doing good, and then another big guy.
they have Benedict Mathurin
Uh,
now too. He's a
Anything
rookie.
Mathurin. Yep, who said he was better than LeBron?
Yeah,
Remember that?
go Beditza. I think
If
it
he's
is.
better than LeBron, I feel like them taking first seed might not be
I don't know.
questionable. I don't think, them taking first seed is questionable.
That yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
change my 10 seed though. I'm taking New York out,
Yeah.
but I'm
Actually had New
taking
York at 11.
I'm putting my 10th seed to where my ninth seed is, and putting my ninth seed to where my 11th seed is, and I'm going with Detroit. I think
Okay.
Detroit can make the playoffs, the play in at least. I believe in Cade so much. I think he is him. I think Isaiah Stewart is there. Jalen Duren is there. A lot of these players coming in, like Jaden Ivey, for example. This is a big season for Detroit. And Dwayne Casey is a really good coach, and I believe that Detroit can actually make something happen with this team. And they have Boyan now, right? Isn't that how you say his name?
Yeah, Boyan.
That's huge. Now, if we go into the West, which I believe is a lot more controversial, at least in my list,
I thought East was more. I feel like East has more competition than West.
I think my list is super controversial with the West, though. To start out, right, I got Denver in the first seed, Golden State with the second seed, and Memphis with the third seed. Memphis, I don't think it's going to be better than Golden State this year just because Memphis is a really good regular season team, so they could honestly get better, but they were the second seed last year, so I'm just going to have them one spot below and being the third seed. Golden State is Golden State. Steph, Clay, Draymond, Jordan Poole, and now you have the big ragu there, Dante DiVincenzo. That is also a really good 3-and-D player. They lost some of their key role players this offseason, but I don't think it's going to affect them too much. Steve Kerr is probably the best coach in the game, best offense in the game, so I can't really put him anything below 2. With Denver, if MPJ and Jamal Murray is healthy and you got the big guy there, Jokic, there's no way they're not the 1 seed. Bones Highland is also there too. Contavious Caldwell Pope, Aaron Gordon can make a huge step to be a really good role player for that team. I don't know. That team looks really good on paper, at least to me. So that's why I have my top three. Who's your top three?
Um, I'm gonna have to go number one, the champions, Golden State.
Okay.
Uh, I feel like even with the morality going around, I feel like they'll be able to get it done. Um, Curry's gonna pop off as usual with Klay Thompson back. Klay Thompson, he might be able to perform. He was looking a little bit too shallow at like the end of the season. He wasn't like former Clay, but I feel like he'll get you like a decent 18. Draymond, he'll do his thing. With James Wiseman back, they're gonna put have that bigger man, right? Because that's what they lacked in the playoffs, sorta. Because they were taking advantage, even though Kevin Looney performed. Um, they're gonna have a bigger guy now. At number two, I have Memphis Grizzlies. Great regular season team. Um, I have them at the second spot over your third, only because I feel like John Morant is gonna have another great season. Desmond Bane's gonna have a good season this year. Um, Jaren Jackson's not there for a little bit, but I feel like even Steven Adams there, they don't really need Jaren Jackson right now. Until playoff time. Three, I have the Denver Nuggets, only because I like their team dynamic a lot. I don't think they're gonna be a better winning team than a number one or two. But since it's Jokic, he doesn't really need like a whole team around him. He could take like a bunch of shitters, make them into all stars because Jokic is that guy.
Yep, yep.
Not all stars, but good players.
No, no, you're right. All stars.
Yeah,
They look
he
like
did
all
that last
stars.
year.
He's playing with them. You're like,
Last year,
damn, this guy looks a lot better than what I thought he did.
yeah,
Monte Morris looks a lot better than what I remembered. Like, damn,
yeah,
that he
yeah.
makes them look better.
Monte Morris, that's another guy who left, but
Yeah,
he
he's
looked a
gone.
lot better last season.
But I'd rather have
Um,
Caldwell Pope in that team. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. I do like their team dynamic a lot, though. I feel like Adam Jamal Murray wouldn't make them a number one team,
what?
even though
And
I
MPJ?
know, we haven't seen Murray in like 2 years since the bubble.
But when he played,
Uh,
he was like
he was
amazing.
good. He
No, he
was
wasn't
good, but
good. Stop. He was amazing.
he was amazing. But
Okay.
the thing is, it's been a while since he's played,
Okay.
and I'm scared
I'm
of
like
that.
2 years out of high school. Doesn't mean I'm dumber. Like you can give me a test, I'm still gonna pass it. It's the
Oh, to
same
be fair,
logic.
you're in college,
Oh, it's
but
same
I feel
logic
like
though.
I feel like that's incorrect because I can give you a math problem from high school right now, right? And you probably won't even be able to solve
If
it.
my job was to be a person that does math all day,
But I know,
his job is to do basketball all day. He isn't
but
gonna
he's
drop off.
to be fair, he is slacking because he hasn't trained in a while because he was injured.
No, he was still training. He was in the lab,
But then
bro.
he still got injured. Like
Dog, all right. So if they're not injured, do you don't think they can get the one seed?
no,
You just think
I
there's
think they
no
get the
way.
third. I don't think there's no way. I feel like Golden State will win more than them, only because Curry.
So there is no way for them to get the one seed.
Nah, I think they're solid
You want
third
to make a
seed.
$20 bet right now that the
I
Nuggets will
don't
get
want
the
to
one
make it.
seed?
Nah, I don't want to do that, Dad.
Okay.
Because it's. I'm not gonna say they're not gonna
You're
get it. I
confident
feel like
though,
Warriors will get. I feel like the Warriors will get the one seed though.
but you said you're confident, right?
I'm pretty
Money
confident.
talks louder than words. Let's put 20 on it.
I mean, we could put 20 on it.
All right. So I got 20 on the Nuggets, and you got 20 on the Warriors, right? If
Okay.
nothing happens, break even. No one has to pay anything.
Okay.
All right. Now
Fair.
I'm gonna give you a random start bench cut because I wanted to ask you this. Trey
Okay.
Young, John Morant, Damian Lillard, start bench cut for the next season.
Okay. I'm gonna start Trey Young.
Okay. Crazy
I'm
coming from a
gonna
Knicks fan. That's insane.
yeah. I'm gonna now this is tough for me, right? Because I love John Morant. I love Damian Lillard. I'm gonna cut Damian Lillard.
There's no universe where John Morant
I'm
is better than
cutting.
Damian Lillard.
I'm cutting Damian
What
Lillard.
universe do you live in where John Morant is better than Damian Lillard? Like, Dame may
As
be
of right
injured,
now,
but like, what are you talking about?
I got John Morant.
Why? Like, what does he do better in basketball than Damian Lillard is better in
He has
basketball?
younger. He has younger.
No,
He's a
no. Okay,
younger.
they're same
No,
age.
no,
They're
no,
same
no.
age. Stop this.
No, they don't have to be same age. You're talking about right now.
For this season, one season, uno
This
season,
season. This
you
season,
get
yes, he
one
has more
season of them.
potential. He has more potential than Lillard. Lillard has more potential to get wasted. Like he has more of a chance to get bad than good. John Morant has more of a chance to be good than bad.
John Morant has
I'm
more
gonna
of
have
a
to
chance
pick
of
John
staying the
Morant.
same, and so does Damian Lillard.
I have John Morant over Damian Lillard.
That's an absurd take. It's
I don't
like
think
you
so.
can't name anything that Ja does better than Lillard.
He's a better inside scorer,
I think it's
no doubt.
arguable.
No,
It
not
is.
right.
It
Not right
is.
now. Not right
Just
now.
because
Not right
Damian Lillard
now.
doesn't jam over people doesn't mean he
Not right
can't lay
now.
it up.
No, John Morant is a better
No,
inside scorer.
that's not true.
He
It
is.
is not. It's
He is.
arguable. You can't just say
He
he's
is, and a better
definitively.
defender.
He's not
And
a
a better
better
defender.
defender. That's just a
John
lie.
Morant's a better
No,
defender.
he is
John Morant's a
not.
better defender.
That's such
Yes,
a
he is.
lie. No,
Yes,
he is
he is.
not.
Yes, he is.
No,
Yes,
he is
he is.
not. He
Yes, he is.
constantly gets blown by because he's too skinny. He's not a better defender. Damian
Damian
Lillard
Lillard
is not as skinny. He has more muscle to him. He's more toned.
he's not a good defender.
They're both not good defenders, but he's a better defender than Ja
I
Morant.
prefer John Morant over Damian
So you
Lillard in
prefer a
defense.
worse defender over Ja? Like what?
No, Damian Lillard's not a worse defender.
He is a worse defender. I am promising you, he's a worse
I
defender.
said Damian Lillard's not a worse defender.
Okay, so you were wrong.
Okay,
Either way,
I trolled you. I trolled
Okay.
you. No, I rather
Ja Morant is a worse defender than Damian Lillard. It's true.
No,
Who's a better shooter? Who's a better mid-range scorer? Who's a better playmaker?
I'd rather John Morant. He has
All
more
those
potential.
situations? No, all the situations you rather Ja.
We haven't seen.
I
we
like Ja
haven't-
more. Trust me, I don't
into
like
coming
Damian Lillard.
into-
I'm not a
into
Dame fan.
coming into the season.
Pause.
Coming into the season.
Pause.
Paused.
There you go.
John Morant has shown he's really good.
No
And he can
shit.
lead his team, and he can lead his team by himself. Damian Lillard hasn't let it. What? Hold on.
What?
Damian Lillard barely made it to the Western Conference Finals, while CJ McCollum. And when he first made the playoffs, he had LaMarcus Aldridge. He
Bro.
can't make it.
Bro.
Damian Lillard,
no.
Damian Lillard's team. No, listen. The Grizzlies were second seed last season. The Trailblazers with Damian Lillard have never made it higher than the third seed.
Have you ever seen the graph where it was like the Grizzlies were 20-2 without Ja Morant?
Doesn't
Doesn't that attest? Doesn't that prove that they just have a better team?
No. Listen. And the teams they win against were all shitters.
Okay, but when Dame isn't playing, the team is awful. There's a complete drop off. They don't win against those shitters. But when Dame's playing, they win.
You're right.
So that makes them like it's
the
like
difference is right. The teams that the Grizzlies, there was like a whole chart. The teams that the Grizzlies were going against, like the players without John Morant, they were going against like the 14th, 15th seeds, and the 10th seeds.
okay. But the thing is, right? The Portland Trailblazers last year, and even years before that, when Damian Lillard was out, they lost to those teams. They weren't winning against those teams when he was out. Even when McCollum was there. McCollum is a good player, but he is not a second he's not a second option. He's a third or fourth option at best.
Would you pick Desmond Bane right now or CJ McCollum?
Right now, like
Yeah.
on a team like to win a championship, if I'm building a team.
Yeah.
I wouldn't as a second option.
Yeah. No, just in general, right? Which player would you pick?
I want Desmond Bane.
CJ McCollum
I want Desmond
or Desmond Bane?
Desmond Bane.
Right now?
Right now,
now.
yes, because Desmond
Right
Bane is a way better defender.
What about last year?
Last year, still Desmond Bane. He's a better defender. I think
A
CJ
rookie?
McCollum. Yeah, he was a way better defender. No, he wasn't a rookie last year. Year before or the year before that, he was a rookie.
Okay, so when Damian and CJ were playing on the same team,
Yep.
you rather Desmond Bane over CJ McCollum?
Well, not like right now. I would like as of today. I would.
Okay, coming
I
into
don't
the league,
want
right?
like
That's
Desmond
understandable.
Bane as a
But
as a
when
rookie
CJ
or
McCollum was on the Trailblazers, right?
okay. That Trailblazers McCollum right versus
Yeah,
this
would you
year's
want-
Desmond Bane or
Yes.
last year's Desmond Bane. I would take Desmond Bane. Better
That's
player to put
why.
around. He's a better shooter.
No.
No, it sounded so bad when you muted it.
Nurkic, or Steven Adams?
I want Nurkic,
Okay.
but you also have
Would you-
Jaren
would
Jackson
you
too.
want-
But he played
you
last
want-
season, so you gotta include Jaren Jackson.
Okay. Nurkic or Jaren Jackson?
Al Farouk Aminu or who? Dylan Brooks? Give me Dylan Brooks.
What do you mean Alpha?
He played with him. He started with him.
All right.
Tyus
Who's
Jones
there?
or like anyone that came off the bench in Portland in the last 5
Anthony
years.
Simons.
No, because that's not fair. Because he
Anthony
didn't
Simons.
play a whole season with them. That doesn't count,
Anthony Simons.
bro. If this is your
Or Ty
ass, this
Jones.
is what you're doing. Pulling shit out your ass. Like this is
No,
not
it's
fair.
not pulling shit out.
It
I'm
literally
comparing the
is the same
teams.
thing.
I'm
You
comparing
can't
teams.
compare it. Anthony
Carmelo
Simons,
or Jaren Jackson?
Jaren Jackson. Fuck that.
Jaren Jackson barely even played.
I'd rather that than Carmelo. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fucking bullshitting.
No, I'm not.
Hassan Whiteside or Jaren Jackson.
Right now,
No, we're talking about the team Damian Lillard was on when he had
Jared
left.
Jackson. What the fuck?
Jaren
Santa
Jackson doesn't
Claus.
even play. We don't even see
Bro,
how he
Hassan
plays.
Whiteside is the biggest stat pattern like to ever live. He only plays when it's a contract gear. Broken in 2K though. All right, we're going to the number 4 seed. My number 4 seed is the Pelicans, and the 5th seed is the Timberwolves, and the 6th seed is the Clippers. I have the Pelicans making a huge jump this season. It's very bold, but I think what they did last season with CJ McCollum being the primary ball handler on that team. Now that you're having Zion back, Brandon Ingram is still there, Valanciunas is still there, Herb Jones is still there, and Trey Murphy, Dyson Daniels, all those players coming off the bench. I think they could actually make a push for the 4th seed or at least a top 5 seed. This team looks really elite, and I'm talking elite. Like they could actually push for a championship this year. It's not out of the realms of possibility. Like if I found out tomorrow that a time traveler came up to me and said the Pelicans won the championship, I'd be shocked, but I wouldn't be too shocked. I'm just saying they're that good. We got the Minnesota Timberwolves coming up next. Great regular season team build. Rudy Gobert is still there. Anthony Edwards is gonna take that huge leap. I said Jeep. Cat is still there. Obviously, he's gonna do what he does, and I think D'Angelo Russell is going to play better this year because he doesn't have to take that much more of an offensive load because he has all those players there with him. The Clippers, in my opinion, are the best team in the league, but with health, I don't know how high they can scale. I don't really know. I can't just assume Kawhi's going to be healthy based off the seasons before. I can't assume Paul George is going to be healthy based off the season before. But I will say, if John Wall is the only player that's healthy on that team, they're at least a 6th seed. I believe in him. Let me hear yours. 4 through 6.
All right, I got my 4th seed being the Los Angeles Clippers. I feel like they're gonna. Right, we're talking about healthy, right? Where they're all healthy.
Yep.
They got Paul George, John Wall, Kawhi Leonard, Norman Powell,
Yep.
Zubac, who I think is an underrated center.
What's
Who
underrated?
else?
Like, what? Like, is he top
What's
10?
underrated, bro? No, he's not top 10.
So
I'm
how is
just
he
saying, like,
underrated?
no one, like, when it comes up to centers, right, who's also really good, like, he's also good at scoring and he's also good at defending. No one brings him up. I never hear
I.
anyone talk about
But
Zubac.
like, is he
No
top
one ever talks
15?
about Zubac. He could be. I think so.
So, but like, how is that underrated though? Like, I'm trying to like underrated
I'm
to
talking
me.
about
Like,
underrated where like no in the sense like whenever someone talks about basketball and good big men, no one brings up Zubac. I think Zubac's a good big man.
well, he's not even in the top 10. Why would people bring him up?
I'm just saying like okay.
I'm just. This is what you're saying.
When it comes to centers, he's underrated. He doesn't have to be top 10.
All right. You got it. Keep
He
going.
doesn't have to
You
be
got
top
it. You
10.
got it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I was just asking clarification. That's all.
All right. I think their team is really good. They have good bench players. They have good starting players. Kawhi Leonard, he's that guy. He's good.
Best team in the league.
I don't know about that.
Best team in the league on paper.
Number 5, a big stretch from what was it, 9 to 5. I got the New Orleans Pelicans with
Okay.
CJ McCollum. Zion come back, Ingram. Who else? They got Jackson Hayes there. Trying to remember off the top of my head. There's one more guy. One more. I can't forget. I forget. But these guys are gonna look really good, especially if Zion stays healthy this year. They're gonna perform better than they did last season, especially because after they got CJ McCollum, their team just got way better, like extremely better, because they had another guy to score the basket, and now they have a third guy to score the basket. I just really like where this team is going. 6, I got the Phoenix Suns. I think they take a big drop from last season. I still think they're good. I just don't think they're gonna be number 1
Yeah,
again.
I feel you. That makes sense.
Yeah. Especially with everyone coming back next season and everyone making big trade moves. I feel like they're gonna fall off heavily, especially with that team morale's down, especially that last season in the playoffs it didn't go so good with them. Everybody they're like the biggest clowns. And especially with this preseason, when they lost to the 36ers, everyone got clowned on. Everyone hates CP3 right now, even
Not
though he has
cool.
CP0 rings.
Not cool. It's not
Um,
cool. It's
he,
not. It's not necessary. You did not have to bring it up like that.
no, no,
It's
no,
just so
no,
unnecessary. Like It's always on him. Like, bro, okay.
I know. I don't think it's fair to put it on him only, but
Oh, but you
yeah.
just said CP0. Like, you just. It's like you
I'm
literally
sorry.
just. It's like oh, that man didn't deserve to die, even though I shot him. Like,
I'm just
it's
saying.
like I what like doesn't make sense. Like, come on, bro.
I just trying to tell you what they called him.
No, you were saying it too. You were like, even though he is CP0, no. Like, you're participating to the problem. You are the problem. Like, don't just try
Nah,
to. You're
I don't
part of
think
the
so.
problem.
I don't think
Don't
so.
lie. You can't say you don't think so
And
and then actually do it. Like, man, I don't think I actually killed him. I saw you shoot him. Nah, it wasn't me. Hey,
it wasn't me.
yeah,
You're
I didn't
right.
do
It
it.
wasn't me.
I didn't
I
do
didn't do
anything.
it. I know op. I'm not gonna. I'm not a part of the opposition. I'm not gonna snitch.
No, you're not.
And then what 4 to 6, right? What I was doing?
No, 7 through 9. No. Yeah, you're right. 4 through 6. Sorry, I was
Yeah,
wrong.
there you go. Yeah.
It's your list. You should see like the team you're on and then go.
I did see the team I was on.
Okay. So you went New Orleans.
I did 4 to 6. Yeah.
Okay, New Orleans Clippers and then Phoenix.
Suns.
Yeah.
It was actually
You were distracting me after all
Clippers,
like that nonsense that you were
Clippers,
saying.
Clippers, Pelicans, Suns.
Yeah, you were distracting me because you were hurting my feelings. But number 7 through 9, right? We got Phoenix. I don't know what's gonna happen with this team. I think DeAndre Ayton.
7 to 10.
Huh?
7 to 10.
7 through
7 to
10. All
10.
right, I'll do that.
Oh, let's do them all.
7 through 10. I got Phoenix. I don't know what's gonna happen with this team. I think CP3 is still gonna be him. I think Devin Booker is still gonna be him. I don't think anything's gonna really change about this team. But I think that since Jay Crowder and possibly even DeAndre Ayton is gonna be gone, I don't know what they're gonna get in return. So I can't really gauge what they're gonna be. But I just do like a lot of the teams above them based on the injuries that happened last season, and based on these player developments that's going on. Number 8, I got the Lakers. I think Pat Bev can will this team to a playoff spot. I believe in Pat Bev. LeBron and AD, I'm just not going to count them out. And Westbrook, too. I just can't count them all out. There's no way. I could be crazy, but I don't care. I really do not care. I like Lonnie Walker on this team. I think that there's no way they can't just sneak in a playing spot, or at least the A seed. Especially if there's a new coach, there's a new environment. Everyone seems like they're getting along. We don't know what could happen, but I really do think that they could sneak in that A seed. 9, when it's just Dallas. I mean, I don't know what happens with Luka this season. He has no one really around him to help them. He has like Tim Hardaway, he has Christian Wood, he has Spencer Dinwiddie, but all these other teams above them, I feel like just got better. And I feel like the Mavs did not get better. So it's very hard to say that they're going to be able to squeeze a spot over the Suns, the Clippers, the Wolves, the Pelicans, all those other teams. They might be able to do it against the Lakers because again, the Lakers, I'm being like a LeBron fan over it. I just want him to actually win and go to the playoffs, but who knows? In number 10, I got the Kings. I think there's a lot of players in this team that have potential to have a really good season this year, and I think that if they just play well all together, as sad as it is, I think they at least get a play-in spot. Like that's like their ceiling. If they get an A seed, I'll get a Sacramento Kings jersey if they get an A seed or a
They're
7
gonna
seed.
say I was gonna get a Sacramento boner.
No, what?
I don't
No,
know. I don't know. I don't know. Look at
wild. All right,
If
who's
the
your,
Knicks make the playoffs, I'm getting another jersey. I'm gonna get a
no? You
Jalen
gotta get a
Brunson
Knicks
jersey.
tattoo, bro. If they make the playoffs, you gotta get a Jalen Brunson
I don't want to get
tattoo.
it. I don't want to get a tattoo.
Just number 11. We're
I'm
like,
not
why
gonna
you
put
have
any
that?
tattoos on my body.
Bro, you have to, bro.
I'll get a jersey.
All right, that's fair. All right, who is your 7 through 10?
All right. I gotta go with Dallas, number 7. I feel like your Luca always takes shitters, right? He's kind of like he reminds me of Jokic,
He does,
is
but
where he takes a lot of shitters to the playoffs, and then he added the big man to the team, right? There could be a good duo, between them. Well, we don't know what Woods could do on a good team, but I feel like Luca will take them at least to the 7th seed. He might even get higher than that. You can't count him out. And then Dinwiddie played really good last season in the playoffs. Um, and that just goes to show like Luca can really bring like a good team together. I feel like Luca is always a nice guy, and everyone likes Luca, so they're willing to play with him and get better for him. You know?
I just don't
Uh,
know how good they are after losing a shot creator like that. We don't know how good Tim Hardaway is going to be because he's super inconsistent. That's
yeah,
the
but he was
issue
out
with
last season. He was out
exactly.
last
So it's
season.
like now that he's coming back, is he going to be the inconsistent Tim Hardaway that we know, or is he going to be the consistent Tim Hardaway that we know he could be?
I feel like he could be. It could be the could be.
So that's what I'm just saying. Like it's such a 50-50 for me. I don't know what to do with them.
I actually have I'm a seed Minnesota. I
That's
feel like
shocking.
I don't think so. I think they lost a lot of key players, but they got Rudy Gobert. Um, I think Anthony Edwards is gonna. He might even be most improved player. Anthony Edwards. Um, he's gonna take a big step up. Then Russell might come back. No, I think he's healthy right now. He's gonna come back with Russell. They got Russell. They lost Vanderbilt. That's who they lost. They lost Vanderbilt, and then they lost
Pat Bev and Walker Kessler
Pat Bev and Walker
and
Kessler.
Malik
Okay, yeah,
Beasley as well.
and Malik Beasley. So that's a lot of key players who made their team really good. Not only did they add offense, defense with defense with Pat Bev.
No, he is a good
Um,
defender. Like
defense.
statistically, he's a good defender. Like,
Okay. He's a rough guy, right?
but he's a good defender. Like
I
what?
just don't. I just don't like the way he plays ball. I don't like the way he plays defense. Like
But it's
he
still
gets one
decent.
stop and thinks he's the shit.
If I do that to you
I just don't
IRL,
like
right?
that.
Am
You're
I
gonna get
still
mad.
am I still playing good defense?
Sometimes you don't play good defense,
But
IRL.
if I do that in real life, is what I'm saying.
You play good defense, but you be a dickhead about it. It's
So
not.
it
It's not
still
cool.
counts as good defense. It don't matter.
No.
It you just said still good defense, but you're a dickhead about it. So it's good defense.
Yeah, I just don't respect it. I don't respect him.
But you don't think that Rudy
Um,
Gobert can make up for those defensive positions? I mean, every team Rudy Gobert has been on, like obviously it's just the Jazz, but every year when he's healthy, they finish top three
he's
in
a
defensive.
perimeter liability.
I really don't think so. I think
He's not the greatest perimeter defender, but you bring Rudy Gobert outside of the paint, then who's gonna guard the fucking paint?
Cat.
That's not really that good of a defender.
No, but it's like if you're drawing Rudy Gobert out, right? There's going to be guards that can switch back so he can just drop. Like he's so good at that drop coverage, it's very hard to like just get rid of it. That's why
I feel
that team
like
is always number one in defense.
I feel like this is such a new team, right? I can't put them higher only because it's just kind of like not their play style.
But
Rudy
what?
Gobert.
But the thing is that Cat's going back to the four when he's naturally playing the four his whole career in
You're
college
right.
and stuff like that. But he
Hmm.
had to switch to the five. So it's like you're having a Cat going to a more comfortable position. You're bringing Rudy Gobert, who always makes his team better on defense. And if we expect Anthony Edwards to make that jump along with Jaden McDaniels, how are we just gonna say that
Then we get to the bench. We get to the bench,
Jaden
and the
McDaniels?
bench is not that good.
I would have to see the roster. Jordan
There's a
McLaughlin's
lot
still
of there's a
there,
lot of there's a lot of bench players that are a lot better than these guys.
but their
Even
starting
though I
lineup is
think
still very
I
good.
do I agree their lineup is really good. But if the starters can't score, who else is gonna score?
It's very, very unlikely the starters can't score.
But you're
A shot
I mean,
creator, two shot creators, Cat,
okay.
and then you have Gobert, if anything, that can average
But
12.
Anthony Edwards has shown I feel like he's gonna jump, right? But then it's Edwards and Cat, and that's it.
D'Angelo Russell can't score,
He's very inconsistent scorer.
but he's a good playmaker.
He is, but it's just not like he's. I don't know. The team's iffy because Russell barely plays.
So you don't think they could
He
just beat the
hasn't played
Mavs
so
out?
much in the last couple of seasons. He plays like 40 games max.
I think it's Cap. I'm looking this up.
It's not cap.
You really don't think that they could? You don't think they could at least beat the Mavs out?
No.
Okay. Who are your next teams?
All right. My ninth team is the Lakers. Now, I don't think they're gonna be playoff team. I think they're gonna be a playing team. Don't think the Lakers in the offseason did that much to help themselves. Um, I think they added Pat Bev, so that could make them a play-in team.
Lonnie Walker, Thomas Bryant. I'm just telling you people who they added.
Yeah, I know. Thomas Bryant, he's a iffy, right? Because he was supposed to pop off in Washington, he never did. Um,
He was
we
injury
can't really
prone.
we can't really tell him what we could do because he didn't really do much in Washington.
Yeah.
Lonnie Walker, he played on the Spurs. I think he's pretty good. He's good, pretty good role player. Pat Bev, pretty good role player.
Really good.
Pretty good.
Really good.
Pretty good. Um, I mean, other than that, I don't see that team taking off
I mean,
at
LeBron and
all.
AD healthy at the same
I
time.
I love LeBron and AD. but the team chem is off, especially with Westbrook there. They're trying to figure out who's going to be the main guy, and they don't know who. And that's another team where they're struggling to figure that out. Ever since they added Westbrook, the team went downhill.
That was your what seed? The ninth seed?
Yeah.
What's your 10?
And then I got Portland at 10. I feel like Damian Lillard is going to come back. He's not going to play. He's going to play like. He's going to need a little bit of time to take off. But once he takes off, he's going to pop off. That's what I feel like. They're going to lose a first couple games, and then they're going to win a couple and then lose a lot, and then win a couple, lose a lot, win a couple. That's what I feel like they're going to do. You know, because Damian Lillard. I love Damian Lillard.
Yeah, I don't think it's that bad of a take. I just don't have them
No.
making it just because I think that I don't know. A lot of these teams got better, and it sucks because I don't think that Portland got that much better. But
They got Jeremy Grant.
back to our Timberwolves little banter. Kyle Anderson's now on that team too. He's a good scorer. He's
Okay.
slow, but he's a good scorer, and he's a good defender.
Mhm.
Jalen Noel is still there. Austin Rivers is
Mhm.
there. Torian Prince is there.
Mhm.
Naz Reid is there. McLaughlin is still there.
Mhm.
Pascal is there. Eric Pascal. Those are some really good bench players.
I'll move the Wolves to 7 and put the Dallas 8.
I'm telling you, man, they're gonna place higher than a
I
lot of the teams.
100% guarantee the Dallas makes 7 at least.
I don't know, man. I don't like their. I'm not confident with their roster. But hey, I'm not always right. But I'd rather stick to my beliefs. So, speaking about beliefs, who do you believe that's gonna win the MVP this year? I need to hear a dark horse. I need to hear an MVP, like an actual one that's gonna win it.
Okay, so dark horse, I have Embiid winning.
Okay.
Embiid is always he's always a slack. I'm sorry. When it comes to the MVP race, everyone slacks on him. He's such a good. He's a big man who can shoot the ball, who could score the ball in multiple ways. He's a really good defender, and he leads his team as he should. Whenever he's healthy, he plays the best he can, and his team always plays better when they're with him. And I like that out of a player. And he made it to the Western Conference Finals too. I mean, not Western, Eastern Conference Finals when they were in the playoffs. And I feel like him and James Harden bring the best out of each other, and James Harden's going to bring the best out of Joel Embiid. I don't know if you've seen it last season. He was helping him practice all his offensive moves.
Yeah, it didn't work well.
That step back. No, he scored a couple times, but just because it didn't went well, right? He had so much time to practice off season, and he's practicing his form and all that. And I feel like that's gonna make him a really good basketball player. I feel like he's gonna score a lot more in this season, and I think it's gonna bring the best out of him. And he's gonna be a sleeper pick in the MVP section. And my actual MVP.
Wait, before you say anything, is Joel Embiid a superstar?
Yeah.
What is the definition of superstar?
Superstar is someone who's the number one on the team.
So every team has a superstar.
Well, no. Well, it's someone a superstar, right? You can have a superstar of the team, and then you can have a superstar player. You could take that player, put them on any team, and they'll be really good.
So how many superstars are in the league? The gears are turning in the brain.
Off the top of my head, I can't name this.
Just like a number. Like if you were to guess a number.
15, 20?
20 superstars? All right, next episode of the pod.
You said, no,
15 to 20. All right, we're going to have you write down all these names in the next episode of the pod. Because that's a huge number.
You said anyone who could take a team who's going to be the number one guy.
That's not me. I didn't say that. You said that.
Yeah.
You put words in my mouth. You were like, you said.
I can name 20 superstars for sure.
Okay. All right. Now, who is your MVP?
My actual MVP is going to be, I'm going to say Luka.
Okay.
He's going to pop off this season.
Do you think that he could still win it being a 7th seed?
100%.
You don't think it matters at all?
Just because I feel like just because you're a lower seed does not mean you don't have to win the MVP.
Okay.
compared to everyone else, right? Because you could have a team like the Memphis Grizzlies win 22 games in a row, be the number one seed, and no one's gonna get the MVP on that team because no one's the MVP on that team, right?
Yeah, I was saying yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna actually give you the real answer on who's winning the MVP this year. Just because we can't always live in fantasy land where Luka's gonna win the MVP. We're gonna go with the logistics and what's actually gonna happen. It's gonna be Giannis. Giannis is winning MVP this year. He gets better every year, and if he is able to be the number one seed, like we both predicted that they're at least a top two seed, there's no shot he won't get recognition for that and win the MVP. His footwork, if it gets better, is going to be so much harder to contain, which he already has really good footwork. So just on top of that, if he improves that of his game, it's GG's. Like, bye Joel Embiid, bye Luka, maybe next year, but not this year. And now the real dark horse MVP that's actually has a real contention for it just because of narrative, Zion Williamson. 100% has that chance of winning it. It's a legit chance.
Oh,
Bro,
you just said that.
he's coming off an injury, right?
He's coming off an injury. He
Yes,
played
wait, okay,
half a
okay.
season.
Okay, right? Hear me out. The Pelicans were just at the A seed last season, or A seed, yeah, last season. If they're able to go from the A seed to the third or second seed, which is a real possibility, and Zion is the number one guy in that team, you don't think there's going to be talks for him winning MVP? If there was talks for Devin Booker winning MVP, how do you think that the most electrifying player in the NBA in Zion will not get at least some talks for MVP?
Because he's a
Based on
guy who's
narrative.
only played 56 games in one
Who,
season.
okay, but if he's playing and he's healthy and they're the second seed, this is a real chance he can get it. It's why it's called dark
This is
horse. It's not
this is
likely, but it's
technically his
okay.
second season. This is his second season. He's gonna win MVP second season.
Well, his third, and he averaged 27 points his second
This
season.
is
So his third
technically
season,
his
if he
second
averages 30
season.
points a game, is there not a chance he can't win MVP? Is there not a chance?
Slight chance. I don't think
So it's
he's
a
gonna be
dark
top
horse.
five.
It is a dark horse. If they're a top two seed, he's winning MVP. I'm telling you. The honorable mention. I have an honorable mention. I know I didn't ask you to do this, but my honorable mention is Kawhi. I think that if Kawhi is healthy and he is playing, people are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, Kawhi the robot. He's the Michael Jordan and blah blah blah. Kawhi is so good." And if the Clippers are that good with him being healthy, people are going to remember who Kawhi is and just vote him for MVP because he's really good in the regular season when he does play, when he chooses to play. Who is your defensive player of the year?
Uh, my defensive player of the year, I'm gonna have to go with Giannis. I feel like he's gonna take that big step defensively this year. He's gonna be able to guard all positions, right? He's a guy who can guard all positions, regardless perimeter, inside the paint. He can play center, power forward, point guard, whatever. That's why I feel like if you're like that versatile and you could do all, I feel like you're gonna be the defensive player of that year. Um, he's always a good shot contester too. Um, big, tall, lengthy guy. So pause.
Uh,
Um, I just like Giannis defensively. Like he's a really good defensive player, and he's always like He's like the underdog every single year, and I feel like this time is gonna be his year.
I can see what you're saying, but I just can't agree with you. Because the defensive player of the year, realistically, which I don't really want to happen, but I can't hate on a player, it's a team that's going to be the 5 seed this year, at minimum. A player that just got traded. And his name is Rudy Gobert. He's already won it so many times, statistically the best defender in the NBA. It's very hard not to give it to him, especially when the Wolves become a top 3 defense in the NBA when they weren't last season. And on top of that, now they have that on their team. It's a huge addition, and people are going to see that and realize that he's going to be the defensive player of the year. But if we want to go who Armand wants to win and who Armand wants to see being defensive player of the year, Bam Adebayo is who I want to see win defensive player of the year. He's a legit player that can guard 1 through 5. He's probably one of the only 3 or 4 people in the NBA that can do it, along with Giannis. But I think Bam Adebayo is faster than Giannis on the perimeter, and I think he's a way better shot blocker than Giannis. So if we can see him take that little bit of a step defensively to be a little bit faster and be more of a presence in the paint, it's Bam Adebayo's world, and we're just living at that point. But now, sixth man of the year. I'm going to say mine first because it's just going to be the right answer, and I don't want to make your answer feel a little bit worse than mine when I have to say it. It's Christian Wood. It's going to be Christian Wood. If he's coming off the bench, he's probably going to average around 20 points per game. He's the sixth man of that team. They've already said they don't want to start him yet in the regular season, but that can always change. So I threw in a backup option just because he could literally just start within the first week. We don't know what's going to happen because no one knows what's going on in Dallas. Am I right? So
Yep.
I threw in my option, and you know about this guy. You used to love him in 2K. Give me Kevin Herter from Sacramento coming off that bench. He's going to average a good 16 to 17 points per game. Couple of threes, maybe a couple of dimes, a steal. It's going to be very hard in Sacramento not to give them an award after not making the
That's a
playoffs.
no.
It's going to happen. It's going
Hell
to
no.
happen.
No, that was
All
a
right, who's
horrible
your six
pick.
man of the year?
Dude, like, I'm surprised you didn't even think about this guy. Jordan Poole.
He might be starting.
No, he's not starting
He
this year. Who's
might.
going to start over? Curry, Clay, Wiggins, Draymond, Wiseman.
Why not have Clay come off the bench?
Why not
Why not
have
run a
Poole
small
come on the
by?
bench? Why would you? You
Why not
have
run small by
basically,
5?
basically having the most improved player
Yep.
in the league.
Yep. Well, he's not, but yeah,
Basically, he could have got it.
but he didn't.
I know, dude.
But like,
He is not gonna start. He's not gonna start. Have him come off the bench. He's probably your second best scorer on the team.
he's the second
Come
best
off the
scorer on the
bench.
team.
Probably, yeah. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Curry, Poole, and
100%.
then
Okay.
yeah. I think so.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, sure.
You haven't really seen what Clay could do, but
What
you
about
always have
Wiggins?
Clay start. Wiggins, I think Poole is a better scorer than Wiggins. Wiggins was like a 16-point player. Poole was like almost 20 points.
Uh,
And by the
uh,
way, and free throw leader, by the way.
like,
I want
okay.
Poole off the bench. I want Poole off the bench, 6 man. Safest bet. Just how they did with Tyler Hero.
That's fair. Yeah, it's a fair.
Um,
I think it's a fair pick. I'm not saying you're
I
wrong.
think it's safest pick. I just don't think Woods is gonna be benched the whole season. I think he's gonna start real quick. I want Poole 6 man of the year. Boom, easy 6 man of the year.
I think you're just hating on my guy Kevin, to be honest with you. But most improved player of the year, it's crazy. Again, I have a dark horse and I have a favorite. The favorite is a boring option. It's so lame, but it's gonna be Tyrese Halliburton. He's coming off a
Yeah.
year where he's basically averaging 16 and 8, and now he has the whole team to himself, along with a lot of young players in that team that he can also just dime to. He was popping off last year when he was in Indiana, and now this year he could probably do even more. So he's probably gonna win most improved player, just based off that alone. But
Yeah.
you want the spicier pick? I know it's better, it's nicer, it's cooler. And we're going back to that guy from 2K. It's Kevin Herter. He's gonna win most improved.
Oh my
Oh, if we're going from
god.
like 12 points per game to 18 points, a
Oh
6 point
my
difference, he
god.
could literally win it this year.
This is not his year,
Why
bro.
not?
He's
Why
not that
can't he be?
guy. He's
Why can't he
not
be?
that guy. He's not that
Why
guy.
can't he be?
He can be, I mean,
Oh,
with the
oh,
Kings, but
exactly.
I'm not saying he's not gonna jump
What what
like
what
that crazy.
what if the Kings become like an eight
I feel like
seed?
he's gonna do the same. I feel like he's gonna do the same. If the Kings become an 8 seed, I see if they become a playoff team, then I see it. But I don't see them being a playoff
Well,
team.
get some glasses because then you'll see the truth. That
I
truth is
don't
Kevin
see them
Herter.
being a playoff team.
Get some glasses because the truth is Kevin Herter.
My safest picks, right? Because I have an either or, and they're both from the Knicks.
Boo.
Jalen Brunson or RJ Barrett.
Boo. RJ Barrett, cool. But boo. Jalen Brunson,
Jalen
boo.
Brunson, yeah,
He's going to get better than 17 points per game. It was like
yeah,
16.8, I think he had, or
20.
16.5.
Yeah, he's gonna be like 20-point scorer.
But not making the playoffs?
It doesn't matter if you make the playoffs. You're improving your stats.
It matters if you make the
You're improving
playoffs.
yourself.
Because people are going to gauge you as a player to team success too. If your team doesn't improve with you improving, that means that your stats were empty stats.
You're the most improved player, not team.
Okay,
You
name one
as a
improved
player
player
have
that
improved.
hasn't been on a winning team.
Jamal Crawford.
When did he win it?
Wait, no. Hold on. I have to think about the most improved players.
That's what I'm
Who
saying.
won
But
it?
okay,
Tyler Hero won it.
he was on a winning team. No, he didn't win it. When
Yeah,
did he win it? He won Six Man of the
he won
Year.
it last year.
No,
Last year.
no, Six Man of the Year. He
No,
won.
he didn't. Oh, six
Desmond
man. Yeah.
Bain. No. John Morant won Most Improved Player, but he gave it to Desmond Bain.
Okay, yeah, okay.
Julius Randle, winning team. Victor
Hold on, let me
Oladipo,
look.
winning team. The guy
Brandon
on
Ingram.
what team?
2020, the Pelicans. He didn't win.
What was their season in 2020?
They were horrible that year.
Check the record. I forgot he won it most improved player, to be honest with you.
Yeah. They didn't make the playoffs. I know that for a fact.
I'm not saying they did. I'm just asking you to check the record.
Yeah, dude, they finished 13th.
All right, I'm wrong. I'm wrong.
You
I'll admit
don't
I'm wrong.
have to be. Yeah, you don't have to be either. You don't have to be the number one in order to win. You just have to improve your stats, improve as a player in general.
You wouldn't think it's harder though if you're not a winning team?
Yeah, of course it would be harder, but I feel like they will be improved. Like them as players, right, will improve. Points will jump. Their shooting percentage will jump. That's why I feel like that's what you have to decide a most improved player.
I think you have a better chance with RJ Barrett than you do with not Tyrese, jeez, with Jalen Brunson. I think Jalen Brunson's the lost cause and most improved player. But you know who wasn't a lost cause? The Rookie of the Year, because they're just coming in the league right now. And I got Paulo Banchero as the favorite to win Rookie of the Year. I've been high on this guy forever now, since last year. I was preaching about this guy, and you were telling me, no, it's going to be Chat. It's going to be Chat. It's going to be Chat. It's not Chat anymore. He's hurt. It's Paulo.
Yeah, I don't know who said Chet,
It's
dude. Chet is
Paulo.
not the safe.
It's
Chet is
Paulo.
not that guy, dude.
It was
Oh man,
you.
I didn't say Chet.
You and
I didn't say
Josh.
Chet.
You
No,
and
Josh said.
And you were
Josh
saying
said
that
Chet.
Chet is going to be better than Paulo. Don't
No,
lie.
I didn't.
Yes,
No,
you
I
did.
didn't. I said someone else would be. I didn't
Go
say
ahead.
Chet.
Go.
All right. I did say in the beginning it was going to be Jabari Smith, but I changed my mind. I think there's a rookie who's going to be a lot better, and I'm going to have to go with Keegan Murray, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't
I'm
go
going to have
with
to go with
Paulo.
Keegan Murray. No, I don't think Paul's going to win it.
It's crazy. It's actually insane.
I don't think Paul's going to win it. I'm sorry.
He's the best player in the draft, and I'm just not even arguing.
He's overrated.
No, he's not overrated.
I think he's
He
overrated.
does everything better than Keegan Murray. He's cuter. He's taller. He's faster. Stronger.
I don't know what cuteness has to do with anything.
Why not? Popularity vote.
LeBron is ugly as Westbrook is ugly as fuck, but he won MVP.
Whoa, why are you saying he's ugly? I didn't say he was ugly. That's crazy.
He's ugly as fuck.
Whoa, that's crazy. I'm not beefing with him.
I'm not gonna say that to him. I love Westbrook, but he's
Oh,
ugly.
you love him. You call him ugly. I don't think you love him. All right.
I love Westbrook.
For Coach of the Year, who do you have? Did you have anyone?
Yeah,
Who do you have?
Mike B from the Bucks.
Okay. You think he's gonna win it? For what reason?
They're gonna make a jump this year. I feel like they're gonna dominate. And like I said, if it's like, I just don't think. Okay, I don't like Doc Rivers as a coach. I really don't. I don't like him. I just don't like the guy.
Maybe
I
no.
want it to be Mike B, but it might be Doc Rivers because I feel like they're gonna jump. Well, Doc Rivers is gonna jump number 1 seed. But if I want someone to win, I'm gonna pick Mike B from the Bucks, of course. I don't know how to say his last name. That's why I call him Mike B. Bodenheiser.
No, Hoser.
Hoser. Boldenhoser.
No, never mind. All right.
Don't fucking make fun of me.
I'm not making fun of you. Coach of the Year is Ty Lue or Chris Finch. Chris Finch is the coach of the Timberwolves. Like I said, I think they're going to take a huge jump this season. I think they might be the 5th seed. And I think if they're that high of a jump, people are going to say, hey, he deserves it. Good for him. Give him his flowers. Or it's Ty Lue because I think he's the 2nd best coach in the league. And on top of that, Ty Lue is just going to have the Clippers probably around the 4 seed, like realistically, if they're all healthy. And if they do get anything above that, it's like they go from the 8th seed to that. That's a huge jump. And people are going to be able to recognize that. What else is a huge jump is within the stock market. And now we got to talk about players that have fallen in stock and who are we going to take with this fallen stock. And for the low price of $0, I am going to go take De'Aaron Fox. Everyone has said that he is out, and everyone's out on him. I am still sticking by this take till the day I die. I want him over Devin Booker. I don't care. Give me De'Aaron Fox any day of the week over Devin Booker. I could be crazy. I don't care. I like De'Aaron Fox more. I'm putting all my stock in him, and until the end of next season, I won't admit I'm wrong. What do you have?
All right. I'm like stuck in between Westbrook and CP3. Only because these guys were like once so good and they're still really good. Triple double. Westbrook is a triple double guy, and everyone fucking hates him. Everyone's like, no, this guy's trash. He's a triple double guy, and he's still playing he's still playing triple doubles. He's producing high numbers in stats, right? And he's still like he could still be like a number 2 guy, number 3 guy, and everyone just shit on him.
He can't be a number
And
two.
just I think he can be. It's
But
just a bad
how?
season. Last year was just a bad season. It
What
was
is
a
one
fluke.
player in the NBA that would pair with him to be a number two?
I feel like Joel Embiid.
How? They both need to score in the paint. Westbrook can't shoot.
Joel Embiid can shoot.
So you're gonna have Embiid stay in the perimeter rather than the paint, where he's better in the paint.
No, you don't have to have him in the paint. Well, I'm
So
just
where do
saying,
you have
like,
Westbrook?
I don't know. Maybe not number 2 guy, but I still think he's a good number 3 guy. He still could be a part of a big 3. And I think everyone just hates him on him too much. I feel like that's gonna be my stock. It's a risky stock to pick up, but I feel like he's gonna produce massive numbers this season, and he's gonna perform well. And I'm surprised no one has said this, but Ben Simmons.
I mean, I think that no one says it only because, like, dog, he hasn't played. I think he's still gonna be
That's
good.
why. That's why he hasn't played. He hasn't played since 2020. Everyone clowns on him. He's low stock. No one wants to buy on him.
I'll buy him too then. That's my guy. I love Ben
I'm
Simmons.
gonna actually change my pick to Ben Simmons.
That's
I
fair.
feel that's safer. That's safer pick than Westbrook.
That is a safer pick than Westbrook. But you know what else is safe? Making a better signing in the offseason to improve your record in the regular season. Who is the best signing in the NBA or trade in the NBA going into the next season?
I feel like the best trade. I mean, I'm gonna do signing. The best signing for me was Malcolm Brogdon going to the Celtics. Only because they were missing that true point guard. They were missing that guy who can pass the ball a lot, take the ball down, make the plays. They didn't really have that in Marcus Smart. Peyton Pritchard didn't really do that good, like when it comes to like offensive tempo. So I feel like Malcolm Brogdon is that guy. He can also score the ball too, and he can just score. He's a really good scorer all around. He can do anything on the court when it comes to scoring.
That's a fair pick. I think that's also really good because there's a lot of players in that team that struggle with playmaking, especially in big moments. Jason Tatum's a really good playmaker, but in the biggest moments, it's harder for him to playmake because he gets trapped a lot. And I think now that you have Malcolm Brogdon, who is a really good playmaker, that can help players in that team become better at playmaking, even develop their playmaking skills. So it's a huge signing, but to me, it isn't the best signing in the offseason. I think the best signing in the offseason is John Wall. John Wall is huge. I didn't think at first it would be as big as what I'm saying it is now, but after watching the preseason games, which you may not put a lot of stock into, but I do, his first shot of one of his preseason games was a deep three and he drained it. He's now playing more passive than ever. He's looking for players instead of playing selfishly. He's still not a drop on defense. He still looks like a really good defender. To top that off, he's making players around him better. A lot of times you see the pick and roll with him and Zubac and he kicks it out to Luke Kennard for a three. It's pretty amazing. And he also had a game where he showed flashes of him dunking on people, like the ability to dunk. He didn't actually dunk on anyone, but he showed flashes of him being able to get up that high and to do it. He recently said he still can do that. He hit one of his signature layups the other day in the clutch
Spinning
situation.
around,
Yeah,
spin
that's
around.
huge. That's a huge thing. He still has that. And I think that people are really sleeping on it, but John Wall is still there. Like he's still him. Maybe not a number one or a number two, but as a number three, that's an insane number three. Imagine 3 years ago or 4 years ago saying John Wall is your third option on a team. That would be insane. Obviously, he's not that player, but I don't think he's that far off of being that player. But you know what is far off? These takes that you have about these would you rathers, and I need to get into this right away. You said you want Devin Booker over Paul George? How are you going to say
Yeah.
this? There's nothing that
Yep.
Devin Booker does better than Paul George. Like, Paul
That's
George,
not true.
there
That's
isn't.
not true.
No, there isn't.
Devin Booker is a better passer,
Okay.
better mid-range scorer.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Just
You can
no.
look at
Like,
mid-range efficiency. Look at the mid-range efficiency.
okay,
He
but if
shoots
you
a
go
higher
off, if
percentage
you
by
go
almost
off mid-range
1%.
efficiency, right?
And he also scores more.
If you
He
go off
scores more.
stats, you have to be consistent. That means all your takes have to go off stats too. You can't pick
Of
and
course,
shoot.
yeah.
So then you have to
Of
have the
course.
Minnesota
He
Timberwolves
also
higher
has a
than.
better.
Wait,
He also has a better winning record.
wait. Then you
too.
have to have the Timberwolves at least in the top 5 seeds because they are going to be the number one defensive team next year based off the statistics of Rudy Gobert. And you have to
If
say
you
he's
look
the defensive player of the year.
and how far has Paul George got on the playoffs?
Why does that matter?
Why
What?
does that matter? First season in the playoffs, Devin Booker winning the
I'm pretty
finals.
sure he went to the Western Conference Finals with the Clippers team. What? And he was carrying them
Yes,
against that Sun series. And on top of
Devin
that, his
Booker.
best player was hurt.
Devin Booker in his first season, very first season, went in the playoffs. Like, and not his first season, but his very first playoff season, he won the finals.
No, okay, wait.
His
He
very
also had a
first
great
playoff.
team though. I don't think
Yeah,
that's
he had a
true.
great team, but Paul George always had a great team. Yes, it was his first playoffs, and he made the finals.
I don't think that's true.
It is true because his first year with CP3, they made the finals with the Bucks.
I'm looking this up. I really don't think that's true.
Devin Booker had never made the playoffs until CP3 joined the team.
Yes, but their
The
first
guy
year they
everyone
didn't
says
make
his eyes.
the. Oh, you're right. The first year they did. But what
First
happened
year
the
they
second
did,
year?
and then they made it to Western Conference Finals, right? They had a four like
They didn't make the Western Conference Finals.
yeah, they did.
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. You're right. Second round. I feel like that was just they got a little bit too cocky because they
So,
came off number one.
but
I feel
but
that's the problem.
the Paul George's like situation, right? He didn't make the Western. He didn't make the finals one year because he played against LeBron. That OKC thing, he was the best player on the OKC team. He was literally third for MVP candidate on that
Hmm.
team. And on the Clippers, he went to Game 6 against the Suns while his best player was out. When he is
But
accepted, he is a number 2 option.
we're talking about this season coming up. This season
This
coming
season
up.
coming up,
We're
based on
recent
everything that I know,
the last two seasons,
I'm not
recent
going to
active.
say that Paul George. How are you going to say like, oh, this player is definitely going to get worse because he got injured? No, you can't say that. You
I'm not
don't
saying he's
know.
gonna get worse. I'm not
So
saying
if
he's gonna
I'm
get
taking
worse.
Paul George
But
from the
Devin
last
Booker's
time
gonna be
I
a
seen
lot
him,
better.
if I don't think so. No, like you can't just. It's hard to
I
gauge that.
think
Like
so.
right now,
We can talk about who's the number two guy and who's the number one guy on the team.
arguably
Devin
Devin
Booker's
Booker
the
isn't
number
number
one guy.
one. There's an argument saying he's
Devin
not.
Booker is number one guy.
There's an argument saying
There's
he's
no
not.
argument.
No, it
There's no
is an
argument.
argument.
Who's number one?
Chris
Who's
Paul is
number
more
one?
of an argument for him than he
No,
is.
no, no,
There's
no,
an
no, no,
argument
no,
for that. Yes, there
no.
is.
Chris Paul's not number
Yes,
one.
there is. Just because you
He's
don't
not
score
number
as many
one.
points doesn't mean you're not the number one. Like,
Chris Paul is not number one guy.
why?
They brought Chris Paul in
And they won.
just to compliment
No,
Devin Booker.
they won. They brought
Devin
rookie Rubio in to compliment him. It didn't work.
Booker's team.
It's Booker's team, but doesn't mean he
That's
doesn't have to be number
Suns.
one.
Suns is Booker's team. He's number one. No
No,
doubt. He's number one.
no, it's a
No
debate.
doubt.
It's a
He's number
debate.
one. There's no
It's
debate.
maybe coming up to see that he's number one, but last year and the one when they went to
He
the
was number
final,
one. He
the
was
one
number
when they
one.
went to the
He was
finals,
number
he was
one.
not number one.
He was number one.
No, he was not. It was an
100% number
argument. It
one.
was like 1A, 1B.
Armand, he was number one.
Ramesses
And
Vega.
there's no doubt.
It was a 1A, 1B thing. The fact that
No.
you're saying it's not is
No.
insane.
No. Devin Booker is the number one guy.
It was 1A, 1B.
No doubt.
It was 1A, 1B.
Devin Booker is always the number one guy. Paul George is not the number one guy anymore.
He isn't, but he's still better than Devin Booker.
No.
If you're drafting players, right? If you have to pick one to go on the Knicks, they're the same age. Don't think about age. Don't count age. Who do you want more, Devin Booker?
That's not fair. You're talking about this season, right? Who
Yes,
would you
this
rather
season.
want? Paul George?
Paul George isn't going
or
to get
Devin
worse.
Booker this season? He's going to get
Based
worse.
off last time you've seen Paul George play versus what you're
He's gonna
expecting of
get
Devin
worse.
Booker.
He's going to
So
get
you're
worse.
just saying
Who do
he's
you
going to
want?
get worse. Like, you can't just say, like, that's not
He's
fair to
gonna get
say. You're
worse.
just gauging he's going
If
to
you
get
put
worse.
Devin Booker on another team, he's going to be the number one guy. It just
Okay, but
depends
if you
what
put
put
Paul
him with.
George on, if you put Paul George on, he can be the number one guy too. You put him on Washington, he's the number one guy. Put him on Utah, he's the number one guy. Like, what next? Like, put him on the Knicks, he's the number one guy.
You put Devin Booker on like the Timberwolves, he's gonna be the number one guy.
You put Paul George in the Timberwolves, he's gonna be the number one guy too.
No,
He's better. He's better than Cat.
I'm putting Cat over Paul George.
So Cat's better than Devin Booker, or Devin Booker's better than Cat.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know how you rate Booker so highly for being a number one guy, but
I think Booker's
neither here or there. I'm not gonna agree with you because when it comes to next season, Paul George is gonna clearly be better, and they're gonna beat the Suns.
Booker is arguably a 15 or top 10 player in the NBA.
Paul George is around the same range.
No.
Yes. Why do you have Paul George so
No.
low,
No.
bro? If he was playing on
Don't
his
think
own,
so.
you would have him so much higher, wouldn't you?
I don't know. The numbers produced. He did not produce. He did not produce any numbers.
You're a numbers guy.
Better
It's fine.
Booker.
It's fine. It's fine. You're a numbers guy. I'm not. I'm a basketball skill guy. If I see them play, I know how they're gonna play. You got it though. If you think points per game like determines who's better,
I'm not talking about
who's
that.
the
I'm talking
number one
about
guy?
what they achieve, what they've done, and their numbers that they put up. And Booker has done more so far.
in his career, no, he hasn't.
No, I'm talking about in the last couple seasons.
Okay.
He's done
All right, all
more
right. If
than
that's what
Paul
you go
George
off,
has,
that's fine.
and he has
Sexton or
better.
Mitchell?
Clippers have a better team than the Suns.
Yes, now they do. They didn't
Yes,
have their
and
best guy against the Suns. And they won six
okay,
games.
so they had the best record, right?
The Suns
Last
did.
season.
The Suns did.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
While the
They
Clippers
had
were
the
injured.
second. They had the second best record that season prior,
Yep.
and they made the playoff in the finals.
Okay. The Clippers beat the number one seed. Went to six against that Suns team, right? Which you can make a huge case that if Kawhi is
He
there
wasn't the number one guy
on that,
during that
yes, he
time
was. In the Clippers team against the Suns, yes, he was. Yes, he was.
against the Suns. Yes, but
Yes,
then
and
they
they went
lost, and
six.
then they
So
lost
two.
against the
That's a
Suns.
team diff. Yes, that's a team diff thing.
They lost.
Yes, because it was a team diff. They didn't have their best
Okay,
player.
but then when they were winning, it was Kawhi was number one until he got injured,
Yes, and then Paul George took over, winning two
and then they
games.
lost, and then they lost.
Winning two games against that Suns team is still a really good thing to do, like a huge thing.
Okay,
If Devin
but
Booker was
still,
alone on that Clippers team, they're not winning a game. Maybe one. They're not winning another game though. They're
I
not.
think they win. They win the games.
No, they don't. They
I
don't.
think Devin Booker is better than Paul George right now.
Okay. I'm moving on because I'm just gonna have to agree to disagree because I think you're just wrong. Colin Sexton or Donovan Mitchell?
Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, it's Mitchell. It's not really close. Porter, Michael Porter Jr. or Mikal Bridges? I
I'm
went
gonna go with
MPJ.
Mikal Bridges.
I believe
Mikal Bridges.
I know that he's an injury prone guy, so I think you can understand if you want Mikal Bridges
We
over
haven't
him.
seen what we haven't seen what he's done.
I
So
believe in the
I'm
potential
not
of
gonna risk
him.
it.
I believe in the potential of him playing. From what I've seen him play, he looks better than Mikal Bridges already. He's a good defender. He's in the defensive level of Mikal Bridges, but he's a better scorer than Mikal Bridges, so I'll take that. Sabonis or Turner? Miles Turner.
I go Sabonis.
I went Sabonis too. I think Miles Turner is kind of overrated. I think Sabonis is a way better
I don't think
offensive player
Miles
than him.
Turner is overrated.
He's in every trade package to go
Maybe
to a different team.
maybe
Overrated.
maybe when it comes to like offensively, he's probably overrated, but when it comes to defense, he's really good.
I think he's overrated on defense too.
I don't think so.
He's not a top five defender
He's
in the
always like
NBA.
high
And
leader.
yes, because
He's high
just
leaders
because
and
you're a high
blocks.
leader in something doesn't mean you're the best at it. Clint Capella is a high leader in rebounding and blocks. Doesn't mean he's like anywhere close to the best defender in the NBA. I'm talking about defensive overall. Like he's not like a top five defender, or
I'm
probably
saying he is.
that's what I'm saying though. People consider like people will argue that because he's good at blocks and steals and rebounds. That's why I don't agree with it.
I'm not saying that he is a top 5 defender.
Yeah, so
He's
he
probably like second team worthy.
yeah, it's fine. But even then, I don't think so. Bam,
Um,
Bam, Gobert, Draymond, all better defenders.
yeah.
So you are you gonna argue Giannis too?
What?
Is a better defender.
Yeah.
So those four guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forward slash center on all of them. That means Miles Turner doesn't get a spot. If there was a third team,
Yeah,
he'd
I
probably
know.
be third
I
team.
know. I
Yeah.
know.
But Sabonis, I think he's a better offensive player. I don't think Sabonis is as bad as what people say he is on defense. I think he's pretty okay.
He's not the greatest.
He's just
Pretty.
okay. He's out there.
He's just a big guy. He's just a big guy. You know.
Yeah.
It's hard to score over him.
Here's the interesting one. If you're a team right now and you're drafting these players, who do you want? Karl-Anthony Towns or Rudy Gobert?
I want Cat.
And then I'm gonna go Cat too. I think Gobert is such a
Cat.
generational defender, but I think that Cat. It's harder to build a team around Gobert than it is Cat. But if I want a complementary piece, give me Rudy Gobert any day of the week. But when you're number
Yeah,
one, I have to go
I
Cat,
agree.
even though it sucks.
Number
But
one, Cat. Number two, Gobert.
yeah, it's just not a close thing. But overall, that's what I have to say about it. So that's going to conclude this episode of the Brewed Up Basketball Podcast. This has been episode 1. I am Armand, and this is my co-host, Sharmasi. You got anything to say to the viewers before we go off?
All right. Follow my social media links down in the bio, and follow us on Twitch as well.
The links will be in the description. Have a good day.